Aaron had always been careful. In Colony Alpha, every action was watched, every word could be recorded, and creativity was a dangerous game. From the moment he woke up, his life was guided by schedules, rules, and the constant hum of surveillance. Drones that floated silently above the city. Every citizen had a place. Every thought had a purpose. Free thinking was almost forbidden. But Aaron was different. He kept a secret. Buried under his floorboard, hidden beneath a loose metal panel in his room, was a diary. Not just any diary. This was a collection of sketches, ideas, and dreams. Sketches of the old Earth sky, drawings of cities full of nature, stories of humans walking freely in forests, and even small inventions he imagined could make life easier on the colony. Writing, drawing, thinking like this was considered rebellious. Anyone who got caught could be sent to the outer zones, remote areas where life was harsh and unforgiving. Aaron loved his diary because it was his world, a world where humans were free, where imagination was not a crime, and where he could feel alive. He never shared it with anyone, not even his closest friends. But that morning, everything changed. Aaron was in the kitchen, quietly eating the nutrient paste the colony provided, when he heard the soft, metallic click of his door opening. His heart sank. "Who wrote this?" a voice asked, calm but sharp. Aaron froze. His sister Lyra stood in the doorway, holding his diary. Her eyes were wide, scanning the pages. For a moment, Aaron's mind went blank. How had she found it? Why was she holding it like that, as if it were a weapon? I can explain," Aaron stammered, stepping closer. His words sounded small in the silent kitchen. Lyra didn't respond immediately. She flipped through the pages carefully, her fingers brushing sketches of tall trees and swirling clouds. "Aaron, do you know what this could mean?" she whispered, her voice trembling slightly. "Yes," he said, voice barely audible. "I know. That's why you shouldn't show it to anyone. Please, Lyra, put it down." Lyra looked up at him, her brown eyes serious. "But it's beautiful. I mean, these drawings, this writing, it's alive. Why would you hide something like this?" Aaron shook his head. "Because it's dangerous. You don't understand. If the elders see this, they'll take it. And me. Maybe even worse. This is why I've been careful. I thought I could keep it hidden." Lyra studied him silently. Then she sighed, a mix of frustration and worry. "I get it, Aaron. I really do. But you can't keep everything secret forever. Secrets have a way of coming out." Aaron felt a cold shiver run down his spine. The colony wasn't forgiving. A single mistake could ruin a life. And now, the secret he had protected for so long was in Lyra's hands. He tried to think quickly. "We have to hide it," he said urgently. "Before anyone notices, before the drones pick up anything unusual." Lyra nodded slowly. "All right, I'll help. But you have to promise me something." "What?" "Promise me you'll trust me. If the elders come asking, we face it together. No more hiding things from me." Aaron hesitated. Trust was a complicated thing. In the colony, even family could be forced to report you. But looking at his sister's determined face, he nodded. "I promise." The two of them moved quickly. Aaron led Lyra to the small panel beneath his bed. With a careful push, he lifted it, revealing a hidden compartment. He slipped the diary inside and pressed it back into place. "There," he whispered. "No one will find it here." Lyra touched his arm. "Aaron, don't you ever get tired of hiding who you are?" He looked down at his feet. "Every day. But I can't risk it. I just want to dream in peace, that's all." Lyra didn't answer. She knew there was no argument. In Colony Alpha, dreams were dangerous, and peace was rare. For the rest of the day, Aaron tried to act normal. He went to his assigned tasks, worked with the other colonists in the recycling center, and ate his meals in silence. But the weight of the diary pressed on him like a heavy stone. Every glance from a drone, every passing citizen, felt like a test. That evening, when the sun's pale light filtered through the colony's domed windows, Aaron sat on the edge of his bed, thinking. His life was ruled by rules, but inside him, ideas churned. He imagined the world outside the colony, forests, rivers, open skies, and his heart ached for freedom. Suddenly, Lyra entered the room quietly, holding a small cup of nutrient drink. She sat beside him. "I've been thinking," she said softly. "Maybe this diary, maybe it's more than just a secret. Maybe it can help us, show people what humans can be, what humans should be." Aaron looked at her, confused. "What do you mean?" "I mean, maybe we don't just hide our thoughts. Maybe we share them. Carefully, slowly. But we don't let them die in secret." Aaron swallowed hard. Sharing meant danger. But the way Lyra said it, there was hope in her voice. Hope he hadn't felt in years. He stared at the metal panel where the diary lay hidden. A part of him wanted to keep it buried forever. But another part, the part that dreamed of skies and rivers, of freedom, wanted to trust her. For the first time, Aaron realized that his life in Colony Alpha was about to change. And whether he liked it or not, he was no longer alone in his secret. Lyra smiled faintly, almost like she knew what he was thinking. "Tomorrow," she said, "we'll decide what to do. For now. Just promise me you'll rest." Aaron nodded, feeling a strange mixture of fear and excitement. Resting was hard when every thought of freedom and creativity felt like a spark ready to ignite. But he allowed himself a small smile. At least, for tonight, he wasn't alone. And deep inside, he knew one thing. The diary, the secret, and the dream of freedom had only just begun. The next morning, the colony hummed with its usual rhythm. Drones glided silently above the streets, scanning the citizens below. Machines whirred in the recycling centers, and citizens moved quickly from task to task, their lives precise and measured. Yet, beneath the routine, Aaron's mind buzzed with unease. He couldn't stop thinking about the diary. Even hidden beneath his floorboard, it felt exposed. The thought of the elders discovering it, or worse, taking him away, made his stomach twist into knots. He needed a plan. Lyra had been unusually quiet that morning. When Aaron asked her if she had any ideas, she only shook her head with a small, mysterious smile. "Patience," she said. "We can't rush, but we can prepare." Aaron knew she was right. Any mistake could end everything. The colony didn't forgive curiosity, but hiding forever wasn't a solution either. He had to find a safe place for the diary, somewhere no drone could detect, somewhere even the elders couldn't search easily. "Aaron," Lyra whispered as they walked together toward the work center, "I know a place." He glanced at her, surprised. "Where?" "The old tunnels," she said. "Beneath the colony. The drones don't go there. The elders don't go there. It's dangerous, yes, but safe for now." Aaron's heart raced. He had heard stories of the tunnels. Forgotten. Passageways built during the early days of colonization. Most citizens avoided them, fearing structural collapse or old security traps. But Lyra's eyes were steady, confident. If anyone could guide him safely, it was her. That evening, under the dim red lights of the colony's industrial sector, Aaron and Lyra slipped through a maintenance hatch at the edge of the city. Dust swirled around their boots as they descended into darkness. The air was cooler here, heavier, and smelled of metal and old stone. "Stay close," Lyra whispered. "The tunnels twist and turn. One wrong step and we could be lost." Aaron, followed, holding a small flashlight. Shadows danced on the walls, and distant echoes of dripping water made him jump. Yet, beneath the fear, there was a thrill, a small taste of freedom he had never felt in the regulated streets above. After several minutes, they reached a narrow chamber. Lyra pointed to a corner. "Here," she said. "We can hide it behind this panel. It's old and rarely checked. Even the colony's maintenance bots ignore this section." Aaron carefully opened the hidden panel, revealing a small recess in the wall. He placed the diary inside, securing it with a piece of cloth to keep it from slipping. "It's safe," he whispered, breathing a sigh of relief. Lyra nodded. "For now. But we can't stop thinking about what comes next. The diary is dangerous. Yes, but it's also powerful. People need to see what's inside someday." Aaron hesitated. The thought of sharing his private thoughts terrified him. Yet as he looked at his sister, he realized she was right. This diary wasn't just words and drawings. It was proof that humans still dreamed, that they could imagine a world beyond rules and machines. A sudden sound made them freeze. A metallic clang echoed from deep within the tunnels. Both of them turned toward it, hearts pounding. "Probably just a maintenance bot," Lyra whispered, though her voice wavered. "They sometimes wander down here by mistake." Aaron didn't move. The thought of being caught in the tunnels, away from safety, sent adrenaline racing through him. But after a tense moment, nothing else happened. The echo faded, leaving only silence. "Let's keep moving," Lyra said. "We need to make sure we can get in and out quickly if needed." They explored deeper, the flashlight cutting through. The darkness. Strange symbols were etched into some walls, remnants of early colonists who had worked here decades ago. Aaron wondered what stories had been forgotten in this place. For the first time, he felt connected to humans beyond the colony, to those who had built it, dreamed it, and sometimes resisted it. Finally, they found a small alcove, just large enough for two people to sit and hide comfortably. Lyra pulled out a small bag she had packed with supplies, nutrient bars, water capsules, and a portable light. "If we need to spend the night here, we can," she said. Aaron nodded. He didn't speak, but inside a mix of fear and excitement churned. The tunnels were dangerous, but for the first time, he felt a tiny spark of control over his life. He wasn't just hiding, he was planning, thinking, acting. And that small spark felt powerful. As they sat in silence, Lyra finally broke it. "Aaron, do you think the elders would understand if they saw the diary? If they saw what humans can imagine?" Aaron thought about it. The elders valued order, rules, and control. Creativity was a threat to that. But maybe, just maybe, there was a chance. "I don't know," he admitted, "but I have to try. Even if it's just a small spark, it's something." Lyra smiled faintly. "Then we'll protect that spark. Together." Hours passed, and the colony above continued its relentless rhythm, unaware that two young humans hid in the tunnels below, guarding a secret that could change everything. Aaron stared at the panel where the diary rested, imagining a world where humans could think freely, dream boldly, and create without fear. For the first time, he didn't feel completely trapped by the colony's rules. He felt alive, and deep inside, he knew this was only the beginning. The next few days were tense. Aaron and Lyra moved cautiously through the colony, pretending to follow their usual routines. At work in the recycling center, Aaron's hands shook slightly as he sorted metal scraps, and every glance at the surveillance, drones above, made his heart race. Lyra, however, seemed calmer. She moved with confidence, her eyes always searching for ways to protect the diary. Each night, they returned to the tunnels, checking their hidden alcove, making sure the diary remained safe. But Aaron noticed something new. Lyra often lingered on the diary panel longer than necessary. She touched it gently, as if reading invisible words in the air, and Aaron felt a mixture of relief and worry. One evening, as the colony's artificial sun dimmed, casting soft shadows across the streets, Lyra spoke. "Aaron, I've done something." Aaron froze, his heart pounded. "What do you mean? What have you done?" Lyra took a deep breath. "I scanned parts of your diary into my personal device. Just the sketches, the ideas. Nothing dangerous, only enough to preserve it in case something happens." Aaron stared at her. "You... what?" "Lyra, you don't understand. If the elders find this device, we're finished. They'll know exactly what we've been doing." "I know," she said softly. "But I also know that hiding it isn't enough anymore. We need a plan. If the diary is destroyed, all your ideas, all your dreams are gone. I couldn't let that happen." Aaron's anger faded, replaced by a complicated mix of fear and gratitude. You were thinking about me, not just the diary?" Lyra nodded. "Always. I just want to protect you. And maybe we can use this. Show the elders that creativity isn't dangerous. Maybe they'll listen." Aaron shook his head, his stomach twisting. "They won't. They see creativity as a threat. They don't understand that humans need to imagine, to dream. They only want order." "But maybe," Lyra said, her voice calm but firm, "we can show them a different kind of order. One where humans can think freely but still help the colony." Aaron felt a spark of hope, though he tried not to let it grow too big. "And if we fail?" he asked quietly. Lyra smiled faintly. "Then we learn. But we won't know unless we try." The next day, they made a careful plan. The diary remained, hidden in the tunnels, but Lyra would carry her device containing the scanned pages in a secure pocket beneath her jacket. Together, they would figure out a way to convince the elders of the value of human creativity without revealing too much too soon. As they moved through the colony, Aaron noticed subtle changes in the environment. The drones hovered a little lower than usual, scanning in patterns that seemed different. Lights flickered briefly in areas that had been stable. Something was stirring. "Something's wrong," he whispered to Lyra as they walked home. Lyra glanced around. "The energy readings in the tunnels, maybe it's related. The scanners might be detecting unusual signals from that area. We have to be extra careful tonight." That night, in the tunnels, they tested Lyra's device. The sketches glowed softly on the small screen. Aaron traced the images with his fingers, remembering each line he had drawn, each idea he had written. It was almost like touching a piece of his soul. Suddenly, a faint hum echoed through the chamber. The alcove walls vibrated slightly. Aaron's heart leapt. "The drones! Are they here?" Lyra shook her head. "No, it's the energy sensors. Your diary, or maybe my device, is giving off some kind of signature. Nothing dangerous, but detectable. We need to act fast." They moved to a deeper section of the tunnels, placing the diary further back and covering it with layers of cloth and old debris. Lyra's device was secured in her jacket, shielded by a small metallic case she had found in the storage unit above ground. Aaron exhaled slowly. "This feels like walking on a knife's edge." Lyra nodded. "It is, but we're alive. That's a start." For hours, they stayed in the tunnels, planning their next move. They debated ideas, discussed strategies, and even imagined a future where the colony allowed humans to think freely. Aaron realized how much he had missed having someone share his thoughts, someone who understood the importance of dreams. Lyra wasn't just his sister now. She was a partner, a protector, and an ally in a dangerous world. As the colony above continued its mechanical rhythm, Aaron began to see the diary differently. It was no longer just a secret. It was a tool, a way to challenge the rules without breaking them, to show the elders that humans were more than obedient workers. It could be the spark that ignited change. "Tomorrow," Lyra said, her eyes shining, "we begin. Carefully. But we start. We'll find a way to show them that creativity is not a threat, that humans can imagine and improve this colony." Aaron nodded. A mixture of fear and excitement filled him. The tunnels had become their secret base, a place of safety and planning. But he knew the real challenge was still ahead, convincing the elders that humans deserved more than strict rules, that dreams were valuable. For the first time, he felt ready. Ready to take the next step, even if it meant risking everything. Because some things, like hope, creativity, and the human spirit, were worth any risk. And deep inside, Aaron knew that the diary, once a simple collection of sketches and words, had become a symbol of human resilience, a symbol that could change the colony forever. The morning air in Colony Alpha felt heavier than usual. The usual hum of drones and machinery was overshadowed by tension that Aaron could almost touch. He and Lyra had returned from the tunnels the night before, careful to leave no trace of their movements. Yet now, a message blinked on every terminal in the colony. "Aaron and Lyra, report to the Elders' Hall immediately." Aaron's stomach twisted. He had feared this moment, though he didn't fully understand what awaited them. Lyra, however, remained calm. She squeezed his hand as they walked through the main streets, her presence giving him a small measure of courage. "The diary?" Aaron whispered. "Yes," Lyra said, "but we're ready. We just have to be careful and smart. Remember, your ideas can show the elders something they've never seen before." Aaron nodded, trying to steady his racing heart. The Elders' Hall was a vast chamber of polished metal and soft, glowing lights. High above, the Council of Elders sat in a semicircle, their faces sharp and serious. They were the ultimate authority in the colony, the ones who enforced rules, judged behavior, and controlled every aspect of life. "You are here because of a discovery," Elder Varen began, his voice deep and commanding. "A diary containing sketches, writings, and ideas contrary to colony regulations has been found." Aaron felt his chest tighten. He glanced at Lyra, who nodded slightly as if to remind him to stay calm. "The diary," Elder Varen continued, "represents a challenge to our order. Creativity and imagination are dangerous, as they can lead to disobedience, distraction, and rebellion. However," Aaron held his breath, unsure what came next. "However," Elder Varen said, leaning forward, "we will offer you an opportunity. You may prove that creativity can be used for the good of the colony. Show us that human imagination is not a threat, but a tool for progress. If you succeed, your actions may change how the colony values thought, innovation, and expression." Aaron blinked. Could this be real? A chance to turn what could have destroyed him into something powerful? Lyra whispered in his ear. "We can do this, Aaron. We just need to think carefully and act confidently." Elder Varen continued, "You have 3 days. In that time, you must present a project, an invention, or a demonstration that clearly benefits the colony. Success will grant you temporary recognition and potentially a re-evaluation of colony rules regarding personal creativity. Failure." He let the word hang in the air. Aaron imagined exile, or worse, a life of rigid punishment. "Yes, elders," Aaron said, his voice stronger than he felt. The council dismissed them, and the siblings left the hall. Outside, the colony seemed brighter, though Aaron's mind was a storm of ideas, doubts, and fears. "What can we do?" he asked Lyra as they walked toward the tunnels. "We start with the diary," Lyra said firmly. "We use the ideas there. Some of your sketches can be turned into small, useful devices for the colony. Nothing radical, just things that improve efficiency, safety, or energy use." Aaron nodded, scanning the images in his mind. Sketches of water filters, energy converters, simple machines designed to make life easier. He had drawn them for fun, as a creative exercise. Now they were his lifeline. For the next 2 days, Aaron and Lyra worked tirelessly. In the tunnels, they used old parts salvaged from the colony's storage units, combining them with ideas from the diary. They tested devices that could purify water using less energy, small machines that could sort recyclables faster, and tools to improve agricultural growth in the colony's artificial farms. Each success brought a spark of confidence. Each failure reminded them of the risk. On the 3rd day, Aaron's final invention was ready, a compact energy converter. Small enough to be carried, it could generate power using minimal input from existing machinery, allowing more efficient energy distribution for the colony. Lyra carefully connected the converter to her device to display the diagrams and simulations of its function. When the siblings returned to the elders' hall, the chamber was silent, filled with anticipation. The elders watched as Aaron carefully explained the invention, demonstrating how it worked and how it could save energy, reduce waste, and improve the colony's efficiency. Lyra supported him, explaining the thought process and creativity behind the invention, highlighting how imagination and careful planning combined to create something valuable. The elders exchanged looks. Elder Varen's face remained neutral, but there was a flicker of curiosity in his eyes. This is an unexpected approach," he said. "You have used imagination, a human quality often considered dangerous, to improve our colony's infrastructure. You have shown that creativity can be a force for order, not chaos." Aaron felt a wave of relief wash over him. Months of fear, hiding, and planning had led to this moment. He looked at Lyra, and she smiled back, proud and supportive. Elder Varen continued, "The council will deliberate further, but for now you are granted recognition. Your efforts demonstrate that humanity's mind is not only capable of following rules, but also of creating solutions that serve all. Consider this a first step toward broader acceptance of personal thought and innovation." Aaron exhaled, a smile spreading across his face. For the first time, he felt hope. His diary, his dreams, his imagination, they weren't just secret, pieces of his soul. They were proof of humanity's potential. As they left the hall, Lyra whispered, "See, creativity isn't a threat. It's power. We just have to use it wisely." Aaron nodded, holding his sister's hand. The diary, still hidden in the tunnels, had led them here. And now a new chapter for Colony Alpha was beginning. One where humans could imagine, create, and inspire without fear. For Aaron, the future felt alive with possibility, and the spark of human ingenuity burned brighter than ever. The days after the Elders' challenge were unlike any Aaron had experienced. Word of his invention spread quietly at first, through whispers among the colony's workers and technicians. Small groups began gathering to see the device, curious about what the young boy and his sister had created. Some were skeptical, some were cautious, but all were intrigued. Aaron and Lyra worked tirelessly, demonstrating how the energy converter could improve efficiency in daily operations. Machines that once sputtered and wasted energy now ran smoothly, and the colony's power grids responded better than anyone expected. Workers marveled at the simple ingenuity of the invention. Aaron felt a thrill he had never known. Humans appreciating human creativity. "This is incredible," said Jalen, a technician who had been repairing the recycling machines for years. "I never thought one small device could make such a difference." Aaron smiled, though he remained cautious. "It's not just the device," he said. "It's the ideas behind it. We need to think, plan, and create carefully. That's what matters." Even with their cautious optimism, there were challenges. Some elders and officials watched them with suspicion. Not everyone welcomed change, and some whispered that giving young humans freedom to create was dangerous. Aaron knew they had to prove continuously that creativity could serve the colony, not disrupt it. One day, Elder Varen called them to the council again. "Your invention works," he said, his tone measured. "But ingenuity is only useful if it spreads responsibly. The colony must see the benefit without compromising safety or order. Demonstrate your work publicly. Show everyone what creativity can achieve when combined with discipline." Aaron felt a surge of nerves. A public demonstration meant thousands of eyes on them. Workers, officials, even drones recording every movement. But Lyra placed a steady hand on his arm. "We can do this," she whispered. "We've prepared. We just need to believe in what we've made." The demonstration day arrived. In the colony's central hub, a crowd gathered, buzzing with curiosity and cautious excitement. Aaron and Lyra wheeled out the energy converter, its small panels glinting under the lights. Aaron took a deep breath and began to explain, step by step, how it worked and how it could improve efficiency. Lyra added context, showing how the ideas came from the diary and how imagination could lead to practical solutions. Slowly, the crowd leaned in, absorbing every word. Machines powered up, systems responded, and lights brightened across the hub. A cheer broke out among the workers, their applause filling the room. Aaron's chest swelled with pride. He had dreamed of this moment for so long, proof that humans could think, imagine, and make the world better. And now they were witnessing it with their own eyes. Not everyone clapped. Some officials remained skeptical, their faces neutral, scanning for errors or signs of failure. But even they could not deny the results. Energy output had improved, waste had been reduced, and machines ran smoother than ever. This is remarkable," Elder Varen finally admitted. "You have shown that creativity, when applied responsibly, can serve the colony. Your success may change how humans are allowed to think and act." Aaron exchanged a glance with Lyra, both of them realizing the significance. Their secret diary, once hidden and dangerous, had sparked a small revolution in thought. The colony was beginning to see that human imagination was not a threat, but a gift. As the days passed, more citizens approached them with ideas inspired by the diary. Simple sketches, small inventions, and suggestions flowed from workers who had once felt powerless under strict rules. Aaron and Lyra guided them, teaching how imagination could solve problems while maintaining safety and order. Yet not all reactions were positive. Some officials whispered about the dangers of allowing young minds to experiment freely. They feared mistakes, accidents, and loss of control. Aaron knew these voices could slow progress, but he also knew one thing: humanity's spirit was strong, and curiosity could not be silenced forever. One afternoon, as Aaron walked through the central hub, a small group of workers approached him. "We've been inspired by your device," one said. "We have ideas for improving water purification and food growth. Will you help us?" Aaron smiled, feeling a warm sense of purpose. "Of course," he said. "Let's work together." 1. Idea at a time, carefully, and we can make the colony better for everyone. Lyra watched from a distance, pride shining in her eyes. "You see?" she whispered to herself. "Humanity shines when it is allowed to think, dream, and create." By the end of the week, the colony began to change subtly. Rules were relaxed slightly, giving citizens more freedom to experiment. The energy converter became a model for other inventions, proving that even small human ideas could have a large impact. Aaron and Lyra's secret diary, once a dangerous liability, had become the symbol of human potential. That night, back in their tunnels, Aaron reflected on everything that had happened. Fear had once controlled him, forcing him to hide his thoughts. Now, hope guided him. He realized that imagination was more than sketches or ideas. It was a lifeline, a force that could improve lives and inspire others. Lyra sat beside him, watching him smile. "We've come a long way," she said softly. Aaron nodded. "Yes, and we're just getting started." He glanced at the small panel where the diary rested, hidden but safe. "The diary isn't just mine anymore. It belongs to all of us. It's proof that humans can shine, even under rules and restrictions." Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder. "And as long as we keep protecting it, humanity will continue to shine." For the first time in his life, Aaron felt truly free, not just physically, but in mind and spirit. Creativity was no longer a crime. Imagination was no longer dangerous, and humans could dream again. The spark they had ignited would grow, slowly, but surely, spreading through Colony Alpha. And Aaron knew that the diary, the device, and their courage had started something far greater than themselves: the revival of human spirit, ingenuity, and hope. As they looked out over the colony, lights, glowing in orderly rows, Aaron whispered, "This is just the beginning. Humanity will shine brighter than ever." The morning in Colony Alpha was quieter than usual. The hum of drones still filled the sky, and machines clattered in the recycling centers, but something had changed. A subtle energy ran through the streets, a sense of possibility, of hope. Citizens moved with more curiosity in their eyes, whispering ideas, sharing sketches, and experimenting in small, careful ways. Aaron and Lyra walked through the central hub, observing the changes their work had sparked. The energy converter had become a model for other inventions, and small groups of citizens were already building devices of their own, inspired by the diary and the siblings' demonstrations. The colony was alive in a way it had never been before, not just with machines, but with human imagination. Aaron smiled, though he remained cautious. Change was slow, and not everyone accepted it. Some officials still watched, wary of mistakes or disruptions. But Aaron felt a sense of pride and purpose he had never known. Their secret diary, once a dangerous liability, had become a symbol, a spark for human ingenuity. Lyra turned to him. "We should start a lab," she said softly. "A place where humans can safely experiment, invent, and dream. We can guide them, show them how to use creativity wisely." Aaron's eyes brightened. "Yes, a human expression lab, not just for inventions, but for ideas, drawings, stories. Everything humans can imagine. We can make it a place for everyone, not just a few." The siblings began their work immediately. They found an unused section of the tunnels, expanding it carefully, installing old equipment, lights, and tools. Word spread quietly at first, but soon, citizens from all over the colony were visiting, bringing sketches, inventions, and new ideas. Aaron and Lyra guided them, teaching the importance of careful planning, problem-solving, and responsible creativity. Every day brought something new. A worker invented a small device to improve water flow to the farms. Another developed a system to reduce energy waste in heating units. Children experimented with harmless machines that taught them about physics, while adults created designs that could help the colony survive and thrive. The lab became a hub of innovation, a place where imagination was nurtured rather than punished. One evening, as Aaron and Lyra sat together reviewing new ideas, Aaron reflected on how far they had come. "It's amazing," he said quietly. "All this started with a single diary, a secret notebook full of sketches and thoughts, and now, look at what humans can do when they're allowed to think freely." Lyra smiled. "It wasn't just the diary. Aaron, it was you. You had the courage to dream, to risk everything, and to show others what humans could achieve. I only helped guide the way." Aaron shook his head. "No, we did this together, and we'll keep doing it. The diary is safe, but its ideas belong to everyone now. It's proof that humans can create, solve, and inspire when given the chance. Outside the tunnels, the colony continued to change. Elders who had once been skeptical now visited the lab, observing the progress with cautious interest. They saw that humans could innovate responsibly, that creativity could strengthen the colony instead of threatening it. Slowly, rules began to relax, allowing more freedom for thought, invention, and personal expression. Aaron noticed small smiles in places where he had never seen them before. Citizens moved with purpose and curiosity, asking questions, experimenting, and sharing ideas. The colony, once a place of strict order and dull routine, was now alive with potential. One day, Elder Varen returned to the lab personally. "I admit," he said, "I underestimated the power of human imagination. You have shown us that rules are important, yes, but that humans must also be allowed to think, dream, and innovate. This lab is a beginning of a new era." Aaron bowed his head respectfully. "Thank you, Elder Varen. We only want to help the colony, to show that humans can shine when given the chance." The elder nodded. "I believe you have succeeded. The diary and your work will be preserved, and your lab recognized as an official part of the colony's future. Let this be a model for generations to come." Aaron felt a wave of relief and pride. All the fear, the hiding, the risk it had led to this moment. Humanity was no longer just surviving under strict rules. It was thriving through imagination and collaboration. That night, Aaron and Lyra returned to the tunnels. The diary remained in its hidden panel, safe and intact. Aaron ran his fingers over the worn cover, thinking about the journey it had taken him on. From secret sketches to a symbol of hope, the diary had changed not only his life, but the entire colony. Lyra sat beside him. "Do you think we did enough?" she asked. Aaron shook his head slowly, smiling. "No. There's always more to do. But we started something important. Humanity is awake again. And this is only the beginning." They sat quietly, listening to the hum of the colony above and the faint drip of water in the tunnels. For the first time, Aaron felt at peace. Fear no longer controlled him. His mind was free, his dreams alive, and humanity's potential had begun to shine in Colony Alpha. Outside, the lights of the colony glimmered under the artificial sky, but inside, Aaron saw something brighter, the spark of human ingenuity, courage, and hope. A spark that would continue to grow, inspire, and guide future generations. As the siblings prepared to rest, Aaron whispered to Lyra, "We did it. Humanity will shine brighter than ever." Lyra smiled, squeezing his hand. "Yes, and as long as we protect our dreams, it always will." And in that quiet moment, surrounded by the machines, lights, and the heartbeat of the colony, Aaron understood something profound. Even in a world of rules and order, the human spirit, once awakened, could never be contained. A secret diary had started it all, and now the story of humanity's brilliance had only just begun.